talk about n electrons, as I mentioned, which are present in an atom. So because of only one atomic nuclei on the n electrons, which are highly energetic as compared to sigma and pi. But in the case of sigma pi, two atomic nuclei influence is present. So because of two atomic nuclei influence, the stability of pi and sigma is little more as compared to the stability of n electron. So because of that reason, the energy order of these electrons you can see over here. So n electrons are always more energetic than pi electrons than sigma electrons. Okay. So please let me know what you really understand based on this relation in your own words. I need response from everyone in your own words. So what thing you understand based on the relation energy of n electrons greater than pi than sigma? Could you respond or should I continue? Yes, n electrons are more reactive. No. So I'm expecting this type of response. Sigma end to end overlap, two atomic nuclei is more. Finish. Pi side to side overlap. It takes place in unhybridized due to distance, little high energy over. N electron present only an atom, single atomic nuclei influence is there, stability less, energy is right. So please let me know. So this concept is over. It is very, very important for our organic chemistry. I hope you understood. So with your response, I'll move further to the next topic. Is it fine? I need response from everyone. So concept of molecular orbital is over. So the energy of n electron followed by pi electron followed by sigma electron. So I think you feel good. Yes. Right. So moving on to C. Right. So one student raised this question in the group. I'm asking this question to other students. I will see how many of you respond in an appropriate way to the question. See, after explaining this concept again, one guy raised question why n electrons are more energy. So instead of giving answer from my side, please any one of you are more than one. Thank you, Vandana. Any other? Right? Obviously, na. Yes, exactly. Right? Yes. Super. Because of these n electrons present on atom, only single atom influence is present. If you really understand, you see ammonia NH3. You think lone pair of electrons in ammonia, where these electrons are present? These electrons present only on nitrogen. So nitrogen nuclear influence is present on pair of electrons. But what about NH bond of ammonia? How many NH bonds are there? 3 NH bonds are there. NH, NH, NH. So are these three bonds pi bonds or sigma bonds? Sigma bonds. So why these three sigma bonds are stable? Please tell me. I'm talking about ammonia. Why three NH bonds are stable as compared to lone pair of electron? If you really understand the concept, you can easily give me the answer. It is not away from nucleus, near to the nucleus. No, no, no. Yes, exactly, Ravali. Because of yes, super. Because I can mention s orbital. Forget about orbital also. One electron comes from hydrogen. One electron comes from nitrogen. These two electrons are present in orbital, na? Orbital overlap. Which overlap? End to end overlap. So what would be the result? The result is the pair of electrons. One is from hydrogen, one is from nitrogen. These pair of electrons are present in between the atomic nuclei. What is the meaning of atomic nuclei? A nuclei of hydrogen At the same time, nuclei of nitrogen. These two nuclei of two atoms influence this bonding pair of electrons. Thereby, stability of these sigma bond is too high. So now you tell why pi stability is very less as compared to n sigma. Why pi electron or pi bond stability less compared to sigma? Instead of far away, please just upgrade. Yes, super. Unhybridized, instead of side to side, unhybridized you mentioned. Unhybridized. The name itself indicating unhybridized means which are away from the nucleus. So you need not to mention away from the nucleus like that. Unhybridized, distance is more, energy is more, stability is less. Okay, over. So coming to next, bond making that means bond making means this itself is called bond making. This is bond making. Overlapment of two atomic orbital gives molecular orbital. That is bond making. What is bond breaking? Separation of atomic orbital from the molecular orbital is called bond breaking. Which are two types, means two mechanisms are involved in the process of bond breaking. One is homolysis, another one is heterolysis. See, this representation you can easily understand. This is molecular orbital. These two are individual atomic orbital. What are these? These two are bonding pair electrons. So homolysis means you can see this is the symbol. This is fish hook arrow. Homolysis follows shifting of individual electron to the each atomic orbital. Thereby, it would give free radicals. Okay, shifting of, or simply instead of shifting of, we can also mention movement of bonding pair of electrons individually towards each side of the atomic orbital. So you will get free radicals. So these free radicals generally initiated by using high temperature, either heat or light or peroxide. What about hetero? You can see the difference. Homo means either side, but hetero, these two bonding pair of electrons together move towards one side, either left side or right side. So because of moving together towards one side, so one atom get positive, another atom get negative charge. So thereby heterolytic cleavage mechanism give us ions, positive negative ions. Okay, it is possible mainly through polar compounds. Because of different electronegativity, that heterolytic cleavage mechanism gives us ions, cation as well as anion. So bond making, bond breaking is over, and the another concept, that is electronegativity. So even in the case of electronegativity, how much capacity one atom has. The meaning of what? So the capacity of any atom to attract bonding pair electrons towards it. The capacity itself is called negativity. Okay, so already we know carbon is attached to chlorine. Because of more electronegativity of chlorine, it drags bonding pair of electrons away from carbon. You know that concept. So electronegativity means capacity of any atom to attract bonding pair electrons. Instead of bonding pair electron, you can also represent with sigma bond pair of electrons. Okay, in a covalent. That is called electronegativity. And already it is based on two major factors. One is atomic number, one is atomic radius. See, with atomic number, it is directly proportional. With atomic radius, it is inversely proportional. What is the meaning of that? The atom with highest atomic number as well as least atomic radius is having highest electronegativity. So I hope you understood. The electronegativity is based on two factors. One is atomic number, the other one is radius. So we can apply these two factors onto periodic table. You can see lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. As atomic number increases, electronegativity increases directly. You see 7A elements: iodine, bromine, chlorine, fluorine. Atomic radius decreases, electronegativity increases. So these two factors makes appropriate electronegativity to an atom. So coming to the next small concept, you know hydrogen bonding. Just to remember, hydrogen bonding means hydrogen itself make sorry itself make a covalent bond. Try to understand covalent bond or any attraction ionic bond to the higher electronegative atom. Try to understand. Higher electronegative atom means what? Like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. So because of that attraction, not only covalent bond, as we know, covalent bond means mutual sharing of electron. But in this case, the attraction between high electronegative and low electronegative, it's a kind of ionic bond also. So hydrogen bond is a bond takes place between hydrogen with high electronegative atom like oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, etc. And these are two types. One is intramolecular, one is intermolecular. Intra means the force of attraction between electronegative atom and hydrogen within the molecule. Inter means between the molecules. See, one water molecule, another water molecule. So that is in between molecules. So this is about hydrogen bonding. And the next concept is intramolecular force. Intra means same, inter means different. So in the case of intra, as you know, the force it is applicable in the same molecule is intra. It may be repulsive force, it may be attractive in the same molecule, that is comes under intramolecular. So instead of either attraction or repulsion, same, if it takes place in between or two different molecules, that comes under intermolecular forces. Either dipole-dipole interaction or van der Waals force. In the case of dipole-dipole, because it is intermolecular, no, see, negative charge of one molecule is getting attracted towards positive charge of another molecule. So these two are two different molecules. Okay, so comes under intermolecular force. This attraction is called dipole. See, one molecule has two poles, another dipole, another molecule has two poles. That interaction is called dipole-dipole interaction. See, instead of the interaction takes place between charged species, if it is takes place non-charged species, that is van der Waals force. So it is a force applicable to non-polar molecules. Okay, so the interaction between two non-polar molecule comes under van der Waals force. It is among the classes under the class of intermolecular forces. So these two are the best example for intermolecular, and these two are the best example for simple hydrogen bond. Right. So please give me your response of these topics. So see, Ravali, the question here is you have mentioned covalent bond and ionic bond. The only difference when you see mutual sharing of single electron comes under covalent bond. Okay, rather sharing mutual electrons. If one in one molecule, if oxygen status is minus, in another molecule, hydrogen status is positive. So there is a chances to form a ionic bond between O minus H+. What is the nature of the bond? The nature is ionic bond. That is one thing. In another thing, if you see water molecule, in water molecule OH2, what is the nature of the bond? That is covalent bond. So the covalent or ionic bond based on the nature of the molecule. So the simple thing you need to apply that concept. you're already aware what is ionic bond, what is covalent bond, what is coordinate bond. If you apply the concept of these three, okay, you can easily understand whether the nature of the bond is covalent or coordinate or ionic. I hope you understood the concept. Chalo. So now please respond to my question. Now we are at current topic hybridization. Okay, so did my explanation from the introduction, means the history of organic chemistry, really help you in this revision? See, I have utilized nearly 1 hour 40 minutes, but when I started the topic from introduction, I have mentioned I gonna finish within couple of minutes, hardly 10 to 15 minutes, but rather I took nearly 1 hour 40 minutes to explain the content which I already covered. See, the thing is, this revision part you need to do actually. If I speak frankly, I wasted my 1 hour 40 minutes because I have my limited number of classes. In the limited number of classes, I have to finish my syllabus. But even though I put this point aside and I utilize 1 hour 40 minutes to make, instead of saying in another way, make you to understand with the topic which already been covered in last 3 or 4 classes. Okay, I hope you understood, but don't expect such repetition in further classes. So try to pay attention, try to understand. Okay, so during the presentation of 2 hours or more than that, if you really have any doubts, so please try to ask while giving explanation and rectify your problem and try to maintain one running notes. Even though at the end of class I can share this PPT or PDF, but it doesn't make sense. Whenever you face any difficulty, because I'm explaining this organic chemistry, you might get lot of doubts. So please try to be with one running notes. So wherever you face any problem or difficulty, so try to make a point and write it over there. So while you refer these PDF notes, so wherever you get difficulty or problem, already have mentioned that point in your running notes. Okay, you can come up with these running notes and overcome your doubts, and you can easily move further. So don't expect such these revision type of things in further classes. I hope you understand. So we have more 5 minutes. So I try to just finish it. The final topic of hybridization. So already we have covered carbon and nitrogen and oxygen. So just I'll just give the wrap up thing of these 3 elements. Is it fine? I hope you understood. Okay. Right. So what the meaning of hybridization? If I ask you a question, energy of electrons. You know that concept. So we are going to understand the energy of electrons present in a molecule. So how do we know the energy of electrons through hybridization? That is based on distance. Okay, simply it's based on distance. So the distance between electron and the nucleus, that gives energy to an electron. Okay, so that energy is based on distance, that is through hybridization. You know that concept. Because of that reason, okay, so we have seen in our previous class, if electron is nearer to the nucleus, is more stable and the energy reactivity is less. Vice versa, if electron is located away from the nucleus, it is maintaining little distance, stability is less, but at the same time the charge reactivity of that electron is more. So the energy reactivity stability factors comes into a picture based on the distance between electron and the nucleus. So that phenomena, the distance between two factors, is called hybridization. So why we need to understand hybridization? Because this hybridization gives us energy of electron. If we understand energy of electron, okay, we can understand that example. I'm going to reveal 2 chloroacetic acid. Chloro functional group is there, C double bond O functional group is there, OH functional group is there. So among 3, which functional group is readily involved in reaction? So that comes from energy of electron. That energy of electron, okay, comes from the concept of hybridization. So to understand that, for example, yeah, so these are the applications. See, for example, you see OH functional group is there, N double bond O is there. So among these, oxygen, nitrogen, and oxygen sp2. So which element ready to involve in reaction? How do you know? That you come to know through hybridization. For example, this molecule is there. See OHC double bond O is there, NH2 is there, NH. So which group or functional group readily involves in reaction? See this molecule is there. Amino ethanol, acetic acid. In this acetic acid, you see 2 oxygen atoms are there. One is in free state, sp3 hybridized. One is in sp2 hybridized. So between these two, which is readily involved? The sp3 it is more reactive. sp2 it is less reactive. How do we know? We will come to know based on hybridization. See, for example, this molecule is there. In this, fluorine is there, carbonyl oxygen is there, and cyano is there. You see the reactivity order: sp3 fluorine, sp2 oxygen, sp2 nitrogen. So if you take this molecule, this kind of molecule, okay, to be involved in a reaction, you can expect the first reactive group is fluorine. Fluorine readily involves in reaction, followed by carbonyl oxide, followed by nitrate. How you gonna say? You're gonna say based on hybridization concept. So hybridization help you to understand energy of electrons. Energy of electron doesn't mean energy of that particular atom. So with that, you can easily understand which group is readily involved. So with that, you can predict the expected product. See, in the concept of medicinal chemistry or organic chemistry, so how these researchers or scientists expect the possibility of product from the reaction? This is one of the factors, hybridization. By seeing the substrate, they can understand what the energy of that electron or what the energy of that particular atom. So which atom readily involves in reaction. So if we are able to identify the difference between energy of different elements, we can understand which group readily involves in reaction and what are the expected products. So these are all the factors comes through only hybridization. So in this hybridization, we have covered carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. Few more elements are there. Those few more elements I will cover in the next class. So till then, try to revise the topics have been already covered. Okay, so don't take much time to revise because this is organic chemistry, so you may face difficulties while refer the topics. So please try to revise at least once in a week. So whenever you face any difficulty, so try to make that point and try to ask when another class going to be happen. So thank you for your patience. So we'll meet in next class. Bye bye.